Hi everyone, I'm here to talk to you about 2020, and I know what you're probably thinking, not another video about 2020, Leila. But I'm here to talk about ending 2020 strong. And I think this is really important because we don't get this time back. And time is one of those commodities that you just can't buy. You can't go to the store and buy time. So it's very, very precious. So that we need to end 2020 strong and show 2020 like, who is the boss? I am the boss of you, 2020. You will not boss me about. So I know 2020 is a lot of different things to different people. And 2020 may have taken something from you. It may have taken a job or a loved one, and I'm sorry if it has. I empathize with you. 2020 has definitely stolen lots of outings and being with the people that we love and so on from all of us. Still, there are some of us who have having a fantastic time in 2020, and it is the adventure of our lives. Some of us are just miffed, that in 20 years, our grandchildren are going to be coming from school and saying, you used to actually shake hands with people, grandma or grandpa. That's such crazy stuff. That's such crazy stuff. So even if you're having a good time, and some of us are having a good time, there are those people who are loving 2020 and they look around and they think about, how can I be happy when there's so much sadness in the world? And then there are those of us who 2020 has brought absolute chaos to our lives, especially if we've lost somebody near and dear to us. And we're thinking, how is it even possible to be happy in the midst of such chaos? And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to be guilty for feeling happy because other people are unhappy. Or you don't have to think that your life is irreparable because of the chaos. Or think, how are we ever going to get out of this? Where is the world headed next? And I can't tell you. I don't have the answer to that for sure. If you have a crystal ball, I'd love to come and hear about it. But the truth about it is that sometimes the surprise is more fun, right? I'm really here to tell you, though, that you can be happy in the midst of chaos and not be guilty about it. And it is absolutely possible. But I have two secrets I want to tell you first. And the first secret I want to tell you is that happiness isn't something that happens to you. It's not something that one day you turn a corner, like it's a series of circumstances, and one day you turn a corner and woof, everything is in alignment and you're happy. So that isn't going to happen in 2020 either. 2020 isn't going to turn a corner and everything is going to be solved. Happiness is a choice, I think, that we make every morning. A series of little incidents, and we say, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do that, and there's happy. And the second thing is that happiness is stillness inside of your soul. So when you lie down at night, there's a place deep inside of you. Things aren't right in your life, but there's a calm and there's a trust inside of your soul, and that you're just happy there. That is your happiness. So all we can do then is really to choose happy right now in this instance, because there is nothing else but the now, right? There's nothing else right here at this moment. There is no yesterday, there is no tomorrow, there is only this moment. So the only thing that any of us is in control of is how we act right here, right now. So since this is all we have, we might as well just focus on it and make the decision right here. Whatever decisions we need to make right here and right now to be happy, to make those consciously, and so that we stay in control of our lives. Because the truth is, that's all we can do. And by being in control of our lives, it doesn't matter what happens around us. So the trick to 2020 is remain in the flow, remain in the now, and at this point in time, make your boat stronger. And your boat is the strength of your spirit, the strength of your body, the strength of your mind. So that no matter what 2020 throws at us in the next few months or how it shapes our lives over the next few years or decades, because it certainly is doing that. We know that we are capable. We, at least, even if at that point in time we don't have the strength, we know that we are capable of reinventing ourselves and reinventing our lives to meet that challenge. So our work to end 2020 is to continue improving who we are, our mind, our body, our soul, our spirit, which is about improving our health and getting healthier. Because remember, healthy is happy and happy is healthy. Healthy is not a dress size, healthy is not a weight. Yes, it's important to have a healthy body as well, and sometimes that comes as a way to a dress size, but that's not what we focus on. We focus on how do we feel inside and how do we show up as a person and who we want to be on a daily basis. So for sure, 2020 has kicked everybody's butts in some way or the other. And of course, because you are courageous, you have picked up your sword or your shield and you have said, 2020 is not going to beat me. 2020 is not going to be the boss of me. And that courageous is outstanding. And that courageous, that courage, and that is definitely. So for sure, 2020 has kicked every single person's butt. And for sure, because you're courageous, you have picked up your armor and you have picked up your spear and you have said, 2020 is not going to be the boss of me. I am going to beat this. I am going to come out triumphant. And that's really good. Your courage is commendable. But I also want to tell you that sometimes you can rest. So, I mean, you've heard this before, I am sure. And I'm here to tell you again, take a break sometimes. Sometimes you need to take a break. You need to regroup. You need to rejuvenate. You need to refuel. Sometimes you just need to fail, and failing is okay. Failing is not an X or a black mark on who you are. Failing just means, well, I didn't get it right this time. Failing sometimes means, well, I have to go in another direction. And part of being in the now is releasing the resistance of always being in battle with 2020. And I know that's a hard thing to do, because 2020 really requires serious skill to navigate, definitely. But part of it is putting our weapons down, resting, and to stop resisting. Because at the point that we stop resisting, we acknowledge what is there. And the only way you can change something is by acknowledging its presence, as difficult as it is. And one of the tricks, like I know one of my tricks, we trick ourselves in many ways, right? And one of the tricks that I do is I like to keep busy. Because when I'm so busy and I'm here convincing myself that, oh, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that, whatever, a lot of it is just clouding my mind with things so that I don't have to deal with what is right here in front of me. And that is the way that I resist. So you have to, that's the way I resist the now, and that's the way that I tend to resist being present and being in flow. So you have to find ways, you have to find the way that you tend to resist things, so that you can sit with the now and you can say, okay, what's going on right here in my life? What's going on in my body? What's going on in my mind? Because everything shows up somewhere else. Whatever you eat and you put in your mouth shows up in your body, and it shows up in your mind. If you eat, say, a lot of sugar or a lot of things that aren't good for you, then what happens? Like an excess of processed foods or whatever, you don't exercise, then what happens? Your body starts to feel sluggish, your mind feels sluggish, and you're not living your best life. If you have a life where you're very stressed, maybe you exercise a lot and maybe you eat well, but you're very stressed, it still shows up in your body. Your body still does not feel relaxed. Your mind isn't at ease. You can't sleep, things like that. So whatever you do in one area of our life, it shows up in the other area of our life. Yeah. So what we have to do is we have to find the ways in which we are resisting. And we have to say, what is here going on here in my life right now? And where do I want my life to go? And it's more important to ask yourself, who do I want to be after this point? Who do I want to be? And that's what 2020 is doing for us. That's the gift of 2020. It's asking you, how are you going to reinvent yourself? Because the truth is, you can be anybody you want to be once you're disciplined enough. Okay, I'm not saying I'm going to be an astronaut tomorrow or I'm going to be an artist. I mean, I love to dance, but I'm not good at it. I tell everybody that. So I'm not going to be a professional dancer, but I'm definitely going to get out on the dance floor and bust a few very bad moves. So the truth about it is this: you get to reinvent yourself into anybody that you want, by taking daily action. But to do that, what you have to do is you have to say, what is here now on the ground? And that's what 2020 is asking you to do. 2020 is asking you to decide who you want to be. What are you keeping and what are you getting rid of? And who are you going to be next? Who are you going to be? Notice I didn't say what you're going to do, what you're going to achieve. I'm asking you, who are you going to be? Because the things that you do and the things that you achieve are really just, what should I say, extensions of who you want to be. And 2020 is going to be gone in a flash. It's just going to be like, whoa, all of a sudden the change is going to be here. So 2020 is asking you, who do you want to be, so that you become aligned, or you become in flow energetically with where you want to go next. So you need to spend some time figuring that out. That's the gift of 2020. It's come to remove the things that don't work for us, the things that are not meant to be here. And unfortunately, I don't know why some people have left, why some people have moved on. That's beyond my capability to ever answer. And if you're in that kind of pain, you've lost a job, you've lost a loved one, if you need a chat, I'm here. You know, you can email me for a chat if you ever need one. And I'm very sorry that you're going through that again, and I continue to empathize with you. So how do we become in alignment with where we're supposed to be, who we want to be, and what's next? How are we going to reinvent ourselves, taking small actions every day to get there? Well, one of the first things I'm going to say to you is listen to your intuition. Now, listening to our intuition takes practice. Okay? It's not like you wake up one day and you're like, oh, okay, that's what I'm supposed to do. It takes practice. And that practice comes from two things. It comes from sitting with yourself quietly, which is meditation. I call it meditation. I don't know what you call it. You can do it whatever you want. You can write a journal. Maybe that's how you sit with yourself quietly. You can record yourself on your phone, you know, just talk to yourself on your phone or talk to yourself in your mirror, and that's fine, okay? So they say the problem is not when you talk to yourself. The problem is when you answer, which means that I'm a goner because I talk to myself and I answer. So the thing about it is that you really have to sit with yourself quietly and get to know yourself, and get to know what your voice sounds like, and get to know when your soul is at peace, because that's what your intuition does. Your intuition aligns and flows with where you're supposed to be. And when it's in alignment, as we said, you have that quiet inside of you, so that you know, okay, this is the direction that I'm supposed to be heading in. But you have to learn to trust yourself, and that takes time, because remember, the biggest relationship that you're in is with yourself. So you also have to learn how to trust yourself and know that, listen, I'm making this decision and I trust that I will do the right thing. Sometimes you also have to, just like in a relationship with somebody else, understand that it's not that it's going to turn out right, but at this point in time, you've done the right thing. You've done it for the right reasons. You did not intentionally intend to hurt anybody, including yourself. And you made the best decision that you could make with the experience and the information that you had. And sometimes, you know, that's just the way it goes. You win some and you lose some. I would like to think we win more than we lose, yeah? So you have to learn to trust your own, you have to learn to hear your own voice. You have to learn to trust your own voice. And you have to practice using your intuition. And a good way to begin to do that, as I said, is to begin to sit in a quiet place with yourself, meditating every day. You have to make these things happen. Listen, folks, these things are not going to happen in your life. It's not easy for any of us, okay? I don't want to get up 5 o'clock in the morning to meditate. No, I like to meditate. I do, right? When I sit, I can sit for a long time and it's fun. I really do like it. But who tells me I don't like to get up 5 o'clock in the morning to meditate. But I know that when I get up and I do that, my day is better. My life is better. My life is calmer. Yeah, so you've got to ask yourself, who do you want to be? Who do you want to show up as in the world? And for me, I want to show up as calm. I'm not a calm person. People tell people, if you know me, people will say, oh my gosh, Leila, you're so calm. I'm not calm. Listen, I'm not calm. That's why I do yoga, and that's why I do Reiki, and I do all of the other things, because it is a decision of whom I want to be. So that's part of it. So we've spoken about taking time out, and we've spoken about using your intuition and taking time out to learn how to use your intuition. And the other nice thing, other nice way to get into flow, just being with the now, the quiet of the now, because at first there's a lot of chaos around us, and we tend to think, okay, there's so much chaos around us that when we situate ourselves in the now, in the flow of the now, the first thing we hear is the noise, you know, and that's true because you're looking at the chaos. But if you situate yourself long enough and you become an observer of the now instead of a participant in the now, then you move back into a much more quiet place, realizing that this stuff is outside of you and it's not inside of you. And you can practice and learn how to do that. I'm not just talking about, you know, stuff. So the other strategy I want to tell you is to go outside in nature. Hug a tree. I know it sounds crazy. Walk barefoot on the grass. Take your shoes off and walk barefoot on a nice stretch of grass where you know there's nothing there to cut you or something. Walk barefoot on the beach. Go bathe in the sea. Sit in the sun, things like that. And part of it is that science has shown, well, you know, I mean, when you go into the sun, of course, you get vitamin D. And I don't know if you know that the sun actually helps to deal with things like depression and so on. That's why you have like seasonal, it's called SAD, you know, like seasonal, I can't remember, it's an affective disorder. Like people are inside a lot. When it's dark and, you know, like when it's winter and so on, people get very depressed. If you go outside in the sun, you tend to feel much better and that sort of a thing. When your feet touch the ground, you actually have like electrons coming out of the earth into your body. So it actually improves the conductive state of your body. So your body becomes calmer, your body, it neutralizes free radicals and so on in your body. So you can read more about that on my blog. I mean, I'm not making this stuff up, that's the science of it. So going outside in nature also helps, being in the sun and touching trees and touching the earth and so on. It just helps us to ground us right here into the now and calms us so that whatever is going on around us, as I said, we stand outside of it and we become observers. And sometimes our minds are not in that calm place that we can do that immediately. So doing things like going for a walk or going to the beach and, you know, bathing in the sea or hugging a tree and things like that, as I said, are really nice immediate solutions that we can take to help us. Another nice one is just taking care of our bodies, okay? Your body is like your car, all right? Your body is like your car. So if you wanted to drive for 3 hours and your car wasn't working well, it would stall. And it's the same thing with your body. To get through the stress, your body has to be functioning well. And as we said, everything that we think and do writes itself onto our body. If you're stressed, your heart rate goes up, your cholesterol goes up, you can have a heart attack, you can have a panic attack. And I mean, just from the way that you're thinking, In the same way, if you laugh a lot, your blood pressure falls, right? It does. I mean, you know, these things are proven. So that everything we feel writes itself on our body. So we've got to be very careful what we think. And as we said, how our body reciprocates onto our mind. So it's really important to keep our body strong, you know, exercising every day. And of course, you have to talk to your doctor, your medical professional about changing your lifestyle. But just walking around your house, walking up and down the steps in your house, turning on a YouTube video, trying to get 30 minutes of exercise every day, you know, not to break your body, but just to get your body moving. Drinking water. So make sure that you have enough water every day so that your body is hydrated, so that your mind is clear, because when we're dehydrated, we tend to be foggy and so on in our mind. So that's like really, really important. Eating clean, and eating clean is about eating unprocessed foods. Okay, so foods that are fresh, not necessarily in cans or packages. Now listen, I work too. So sometimes you can't prepare things from scratch. So I haven't ate it. The rule is 80-20. Try and do anything 80% of the time, and that's success. You can't necessarily do anything 100% of the time. So if you can do this 80% of the time and 20% of the time, you might have things in from tins or from packs. It's fine, because you have to work. You have a life. Try and eat fresh fruit and fresh vegetables and stuff like that. You know, just eat clean. Stay away from preservatives and all of those extra additives in your food. You know, use like natural spices and so on. So you feed your body, and so that your body becomes healthier. Another nice strategy is just to give thanks. And I pray in thank yous as well. So another one, I call it a gratitude walk. You might have read about it in other places. Like when I am having a really bad day, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'm having a really bad day, and you can't leave. All I do is I go for a walk. I'm like, listen, I need to give these people a break. So what I do is I just go for a walk, and with every step I say thank you, 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 thank you. Sometimes I can't even think straight. You understand? That works for me. Another thing that I do is I pray in thank yous and I surrender. So I say, can I have a donut? I would like a donut if it is in your highest, or if it's in my highest will. So that maybe it is, I'm just kidding around, you know. You might say, I want a car if it's in my highest will. So the thing about it is that you have to put into the universe what you want, and you have to set your intentions. But by saying that I surrender to my highest will, I surrender and I align myself to what is supposed to be in my life, because not everything that I want is good for me. Like how I like chocolate, and that's not good for me. So I'm not a big chocolate lover, but I do like chocolate, you know, that kind of a way. It's not very, I like sugar. I love sugar. So it's not really good for me, so I always have to kind of manage how that shows up in my life. So not everything that you love is good for you, or that you're meant to have. So by praying in thank yous, first of all, says that your thank you draw the energy in your life as you set the intention, but that you also surrender to whatever is in your highest good. So the things that are good for you show up, and you remain in flow with where you're supposed to be. So the last one I have to say to you is to be part of a community with people, because a lot of us are locked inside, or we're working from home these days, and we it's like, wow, I didn't realize. Some of us are like, whoa, I didn't realize my social life was so bad. It was work and home. But we talk to people so much at work that sometimes when we get home, we don't need to talk to anybody else, because we've got great friends at work, you know. But then when we're not there anymore, and we're home for most of the time, most of the week, it's like, whoa, who do we talk to? So you have to, and some of us are locked in. We can't talk to anybody because we're in quarantine, or we're shut in. So we really have to find ways, and the internet honestly is a great way to get involved in communities. You can get involved in any kind of group that you like. If you like to do yoga, if you like to cook, if you like to do hair, if you like to do whatever, if you want to help somebody, there's a community out there that you can get involved in. And not just to go around and look, but really get involved with people. Leave a comment. for you, leave a question that you want answered, leave a comment on the page so that you're actually interacting with people, because it's really important that we stay in flow with the people around us. Yeah, because we're humans and we need each other. And the thing about it is that there's nothing better than helping another person. Nothing better. It just gets you out of your head, gets us out of the zone of, oh my God, my life is terrible, whatever. What did I do to deserve this, you know? Just help somebody else. Be connected to somebody else. And that really, really helps. So I really hope that this video helps you just to end 2020 strong, by being in flow with your body, being in flow with the nature around you, being in flow with your intuition, being in flow with your community, so that you can begin to decide very strongly whom you want to be. And so that 2020, you know, brings that to you, begins to show you this is the direction that you need to go as you release your past. We are grateful to the past for whatever it has brought to us, because there's a lot of love and joy and good things in our past, just as there's a lot of shadow for all of us. And as we embrace a new future that we create, I love you so much. I am so grateful for your time and that you're here. Drop a comment, email me, let's chat. Mwah! I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.